There's a tomato.
What's up, everybody? We're back out in the garden again. Today we're working on 3 different tomato structures that we use in our garden. We use the lean and lower system on our indeterminate tomatoes, which are these, and also on our cherry tomatoes. And then we use the Florida weave on our determinate tomatoes. So we'll show you guys how we do it.
So the tomatoes have been in the ground for a couple of weeks now, and some of them that were on the smaller side, or that are on the smaller side, are still standing straight up. But then others have really taken off and they're starting to droop, and so we need to get our structure in place so that we can tie them up and train their growing habit to go straight. To start, Jason is driving 8-foot T-posts into the bed.
So these are 8-foot metal T-posts, which we can't find anywhere right now. So we've run one short on each row, and some friends of ours are making us some that we'll probably get soon. And this is chain link fence top rail, and then we use some leftover chain link fence parts, and we also use 1.5" PVC tees to fit on top of the post to hold the top rail in place. And we just use metal roofing screws and baling wire to hold it all together.
So now the structure is in place and it's time to attach our tomahawks. These will hang from the top from a loop of twine, and then we'll drop this string down and we'll be able to attach our tomato clips to them, and that will help the tomato plant grow up tall. Indeterminate tomatoes and cherry tomatoes will sprawl and stretch out if they're not trained or contained. This structure, along with regular pruning and clipping, will keep the plant growing in one direction vertically.
Okay, so right now I'm pruning the tomatoes before I clip them, and eventually we'll have every leaf pruned up to the first fruit spur. So that'll be that one and that one, but right now I'm not going to cut them off yet because it wouldn't leave too much, and I want something to clip it to. So these are tomato clips. You put this part right here on the string, and it grabs hold of the string when you close it, and you put it under a good strong leaf or fruit spur. And right now I'm just putting 2 clips on each tomato, and this one is a confusing one. I'm pretty sure it just splits here instead of it being a sucker, so we're going to just pick which one we're going to keep because we're growing a central leader, and they both look the same to me, so let's cut that one off. Smart clips get old and break, especially when we leave them out all year. And I'll show you pruning another one. little hard to see for the shard that's looking really good. We're cutting every leaf off up to a point. Eventually to the fruit, and then as they continue to grow, as you pick the fruit, you continue pruning them up to the next fruit spur. So that's all I'm going to cut off right now. There's no blooms yet on this one.
Pruning ensures each plant only has one growing tip. Suckers are found shooting out of the armpit of a leaf branch. We clip them off because they take away from the fruit production and essentially suck energy away from the plant.
So we're still pruning off suckers, and we're putting up the leaves up away from the ground so they don't get disease from the dirt splashing on them when it rains. And we're pruning suckers to keep it pruned to one central leader, because we do the lean and lower system. And we choose that system because we like a tidier plant. We have a lot of problem with disease here in Arkansas, so lets a lot of good airflow in. You also get maybe less tomatoes, but you get bigger, prettier tomatoes, I believe. And that's what we like. And by pruning the suckers off, you redirect that energy into the main plant instead of a big bushy plant with a whole lot of small tomatoes on it. We have really big tomatoes, so. And you only prune the leaves up to the first fruit spur right there. I'm not doing that at this point because we're not quite there yet. Eventually there will be a clip right there which will hold that spur, and the fruit spur and the plant will continue on, and everything below it will be pruned off, but you keep the leaves above it so you have shade for your fruit. And we also make sure we watch the plant and make sure we have enough fertilizer to grow enough leaves to shade the fruit too. I'll show you that later on as we have to. This one has a lot of suckers. Sometimes it's hard to prune that much off, but it makes for a better tomato plant, in our opinion. Watch for the fruit will be on the main growing stem. So this is a sucker. It's actually bigger than the main plant, but you look for where the fruit is. That's all I'm going to prune today on that one.
It took till past dark, but we finally got everything clipped up and the structure in place. Except we still had a problem. We were missing the 8-foot T-post at the end of our structure.
The last of our T-posts are in place and the lean and lower structures are all set for our intermediate and cherry tomatoes.
These are our determinate tomatoes, and down there are tomatillos. I've already driven the metal T-post. This is going to be the Florida weave. Just how we take care of our determinants and a few things like that. I use a little piece of PVC and this box twine that we get from Morgan County Seed. Goes on your belt loop. I'll show you how we do it.
Determinate tomatoes are shorter and bushier. They need stability, which the Florida weave and the T-posts provide, but they do not need to be pruned or have space to grow out. They will grow for a determined time and produce all of their tomatoes basically all at once. We have a T-post at each end of this bed, and then we have a T-post that's driven in about every third plant. Essentially, this system works like a tomato cage, but we prefer it because it takes up less space in the garden compared to a cage, and cages can be cumbersome to store and to get on and off the plants.
You just take the string on one side, opposite sides of each plant on the way down, and the opposite of that on the way back. We'll have to do that again in another week or so, probably about 4 or 5 times total to hold them up.
And that's how we manage our tomatoes.